Donald Trump's transactional and grifting schemes are very well known, but today the Wall Street Journal is exposing the depth of his kiss the ring extortion racket by revealing how much he charges corporate executives for just 15 minutes of his time. It's unbelievable, and I have the full story for you next. By now, everyone knows that Donald Trump's attention and favoritism is on the table in exchange for cash donations. I've consumed a lot of content on his many conflicts of interest and shady side hustles, and some of the best analysis I've seen comes from MSNBC's Stephanie Ruhle. Watch as she asks the question, is Trump's White House for sale, and details the family's criminal enterprise. And on the other side, I'll share the latest blockbuster by the Wall Street Journal.
One question we have been asking, is this White House for sale? His wife, First Lady Melania Trump, launched her own cryptocurrency token just days before the inauguration. His son, Don Jr., is now part of a venture capital fund, while his other son, Eric Trump, heads up the Trump Organization. And despite removing himself from the West Wing this time around, his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, founded a private equity firm that does a whole lot of business with foreign governments, and he's also in partnership with the Trump Organization. But I want to take a closer look at the patriarch and some of his more recent business ventures. He released his own meme coin that is now worth tens of billions of dollars. It is no surprise that Donald Trump wants to make money. People many people aren't happy with it, but it's a foregone conclusion. Today, the White House announced that Donald Trump plans to spend most weekends at his house in Florida, Mar-a-Lago. He likes to call it the Winter White House. It is not. It's his private home, but it's also a club. During his first administration, all sorts of watchdog groups highlighted the millions and millions of dollars he made from foreign patronage to his hotels, all the people who went to Mar-a-Lago, all the money the U.S. government had to pay because he was overcharging to have the Secret Service and his staff all stay there. Are we just going to get that this time around, but supercharged? Since he didn't get in trouble for it last time, he's figured out how to double down and charge even more.
Yeah, of course, I think that's going to happen. The other thing is if he's conducting official business at Mar-a-Lago and you have none of the record keeping or cataloging that you would have at the White House in terms of who he's meeting with and who he's visiting with, it introduces another level of opacity into Trump's dealings as president. And the more time he's conducting public business from there rather than from the White House, people should be concerned about what he's doing in the dark.
And speaking of what Trump does in the dark, he's been secretly extorting executives out of huge sums of money for just a few minutes of his time. That is, until the Wall Street Journal shined its light on the pay-to-play scam. Have a listen.
Inside Trump's million-dollar dinners with healthcare executives. Donald Trump hosted meals with dozens of the corporate leaders during the presidential transition in a lucrative money-making venture. First came the pharmaceutical executives, then the insurance companies and the hospital leaders. During 2 months that shattered records for presidential transitions, healthcare executives wrote among the largest checks, paying millions of dollars to attend at least 6 different dinners with now President Trump before he took office, according to people familiar with them. Altogether, Trump has told associates he raised about $500 million. Much of it came from the healthcare industry, which is potentially facing sharp changes under Trump's new health secretary. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has criticized the use of described federal health agencies as beholden to the interests of drug makers and suggested banning television drug ads.
And the Daily Beast described it this way.
Trump wanted millions for 15-minute meeting with business execs. Trump sent his fundraising effort into overdrive, hosting various executives at Mar-a-Lago after he'd already been elected president. President Donald Trump charged millions of dollars for a single 15-minute meeting, and has privately boasted of making $500 million from deep-pocketed executives looking to gain his favor, according to the Wall Street Journal. The paper reported that Meredith O'Rourke, Trump's top fundraiser, said a minutes-long sit-down with the MAGA chief would sting into the millions. Meanwhile, the reported $500 million windfall, split across the various committees and accounts, will be used as a rainy day fund. The paper reported the president as saying, citing anonymous sources, executives from the pharmaceutical, healthcare, insurance and technology sectors were among those tripping over themselves to bend the knee at Mar-a-Lago after Trump's election victory, WSJ stated. Everybody who is anybody went down, said Catherine Wild, leader of the nonprofit CEO Alliance Partnership for New York City. It was a proactive effort to not be a target. After the meetings, Trump would speak publicly about the issues raised. Sources say the fundraising drive is set to continue this week, with pharma execs due to visit the president at the White House again.
During his first term, Trump faced numerous allegations of operating pay-to-play schemes for access and favors, and individuals and corporations seeking influence or specific outcomes were encouraged to spend lavishly at Trump-owned properties or make significant contributions to his political interests. This intertwining of political activities and personal profit underscores the deep concerns Democrats have about the egregious conflicts of interest by Trump and the disgraceful blind eye adopted by Republicans. If you're like me, you assume that we had guardrails in place to prevent such things, but I think what we discovered is we only had a set of norms that everyone abided by. That is, until this moment in time. And we have discovered that Donald Trump looks at a norm as a challenge and an opportunity. An opportunity to break the system, exploit it through threats and power, and drain money from it. I'm Dan, thanks for watching, and now I want to know what you think, so please comment below, and let's continue to occupy democracy together.